Did you know there's a tree that can give you legal advice? It also spouts out wisdom disguised as a cuckoo, and its seeds can be roasted and made into a chocolate substitute. What? That sounds insane. It's time for the lime. The main difference between a lime tree and one of those round green things that you find in bars is that if you try and shove a lime tree into a bottle of Corona, it'll go wrong. Why are they called lime trees? Well, they go fantastic in a mojito. If you lick the bark, your nipples will turn green. Both lies, I'm afraid. I'm guessing you'd already twigged that. So are lime trees death or dinner? Well, if you attempt to eat a whole tree, death is definitely a possibility. But actually, there are edible parts of the lime tree, and this is the best bit. These are called lindens. These are the seeds of the lime tree, and they can be made into a tea which can do wonderful things like being anti-inflammatory and help with mild pain and just about everything else that apparently herbal teas can do and probably can't. That's going out on a limb. And yes, believe it or not, the linden seeds, when roasted and ground down, can be made as a substitute for chocolate. But before you get your hopes up, it doesn't make chocolate limes, it's just like chocolate. It apparently doesn't last very long either, so you need to get on with it and eat it quickly. But that's not really a problem, because who the eats chocolate slowly? So what's this about cuckoos? Well, in the Baltic, Liama was the goddess of the lime tree, and women would go to the tree and they would dance around it and they would hang around with it and they would talk to it like it was a human. It doesn't say much about the men in the Baltic at that time, does it? I mean, if you're spending more time hanging out with a tree than your husband, it doesn't suggest that your husband is particularly good company. He's probably too busy going around chopping up things with axes. Maybe hanging out with trees in the Baltics like they're human beings is where the phrase barking mad comes from. But apparently the goddess Liama would basically manifest as a cuckoo, and the wisdom came through the cuckoo noise. Of course, there's only one noise. How much wisdom can you get from the words cook and the word ooh? Also, taking advice from a bird which basically usurps other people's nests, kills their babies, is not exactly hanging out with good company, is it? You've been hanging out with that cuckoo again, I'm telling you, he's a wrong un. And in Germany, they would actually go to the tree for legal advice. Imagine that. If you had an accident at work, come and talk to the tree. We'll fight for your compensation on a no-win, no-tree basis. I'm seriously beginning to wonder what the hell was going on in Northern Europe in the pre-Enlightenment times if people were literally going to trees for legal advice and companionship. Apparently the wood's extremely good for wood turning and actually was used for the sounding boards for pianos. But don't tell the people from the Baltic that you're cutting up their best friends and making them into musical instruments, or we'll probably have another Viking invasion on our hands. You're barking up the wrong tree there, son. Lime trees are quite easy to recognise. They have these round leaves, but serrated on the edges. But the base of a lime tree is very obvious. It's got lots of little tiny sticks coming out, lots of new shoots, hundreds of them. And often when you see them in parks and stuff, that's been sort of trimmed down and stuff so it doesn't get in the way. But it's a pretty telltale sign. I'm sorry I'm speaking so quickly. I know I do speak very quickly anyway, but today there are like 10 seconds between each plane going over at the moment. I'm in Isleworth, so literally I've got to speak. So I apologise for that. Try to slow the film down or listen faster. Were they sacred to druids? Of course they were. Druids love talking cuckoos, everyone knows that. Do they ward off evil? Well, we've established that they're lawyers, so quite the opposite. I think we better leave it there. Have a wonderful day.